377-6963.
2-0 to start the season. You want to be 3-0 by about 6:30 today. Alongside Tommy Kraft, I'm Ty Richardson, and we are live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith for the third edition of Arkansas Game Day this season. The publisher of Hogs Illustrated, Clay Henry, is going to be on with us at some point. Your calls, your texts are welcome at any point. And Tommy, we've talked about not overlooking the Eagles all week. Well, in about 5 hours from now, this team can prove exactly that they're not looking ahead to the Texas A&M Aggies.
You know, one thought that hit me driving into the studio this morning is after today, and boy, hate to even look at it this way because it feels like you're getting started, you're 25% through the season. You're 3 games done. It's already starting to fly by, and you haven't even played a conference game yet. Slow down a little bit. I want to enjoy the college football season.
Yeah, no, I do too, and we've got some good games today, particularly in the Southeastern Conference. I know that all eyes are going to be on the Arkansas Razorbacks, but I'm going to have a television or my screen also on the Alabama-Florida game. Now, there's a good chance that game gets out of hand in the Swamp relatively quickly. You know what's crazy, Tommy? They haven't been to Gainesville, Alabama, since 2005. Yeah. Haven't been. So about the same time that Texas came to town, same conference opponent hasn't been to Florida since 2005, 16 years.
Hopefully this conference expansion, maybe the scheduling formula can fix that. I know Saban's been vocally a proponent of having a scheduling system that allows everyone in a 4-year or 5-year period to see every school in the league. That's way too long for anyone not to play another opponent that's in your conference. I understand that's a cross-divisional game, East versus West school, but Florida and Bama need to play more routinely. Now, every 4th year or something like that. So every 8th year you ought to be in the other team's stadium. So hopefully this new system will allow for that. And if I had my way, they would be in the same division when it's all said and done in about 3 or 4 years.
I'd love to be in the division that we've discussed before with both Texas and Oklahoma coming over to the SEC West, Missouri staying there, and then you have Alabama and Auburn move over to the East. We'll see what the SEC ultimately decides. Division pods, there's a lot of up there.
Whatever Saban decides is what they'll decide.
Whatever Nick Saban feels okay with, which hopefully Nick Saban doesn't want to play Arkansas every year. He wants to play other opponents. So we'll have to wait and see. But we're happy to be here this morning and happy to be with you for the next 2 hours. You'll hear from Phil Elson, Rick Schaefer, and Geno Bell in the Learfield pregame, and then Chuck and Quinn Grovey will be after that. And then you'll hear later on this afternoon, in towards the night kind of, I'd say, we'll hear from Drew Barrett. And you said Ruskin's doing. I think I was incorrect saying Arns was doing. It's Ruskin and Drew later tonight.
Derek and Drew following the game for your Hog reactions tonight, and We'll be with you, I guess, for the next 12 hours or so. Is what you can buckle up for here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. And don't forget, during the game, if you want to match up your TV with Chuck and Quinn, one of the easiest ways to do it, we get this question all the time, Ty. Text it in. People interact with us. How do I match that up? I think one of the easiest ways now, particularly with these smart speakers, is just tell your Alexa, tell your smart speaker, or use your phone or tablet to go to hitthatline.com and use our streaming audio. We're now allowed to stream the games here within the geographical confines of our state. So you can match that up, and it's a lot easier because of the delay, the natural delay of the audio on the streaming, that you can then just use your DVR on the TV and match us up. So if you want to listen to Chuck and Quinn call today's game, no problem. Just use our online streaming audio today and listen to it there, and then match it up with your DVR on your TV. And with the game on regular TV, that should be easy to do.
And I think Joe Tessitore and Greg McElroy did a great job this past week. But when it comes to who you want to listen to during the game, Tommy, it's really not a competition, or it's really not a close competition when it comes to Chuck and Z and Chuck and Quinn and whoever they're going up against.
Yep. So we get that question often. How do we match that up? And whether you're direct, dish TV, cable, whatever, that is the easiest way, particularly when you got a DVR in your house.
So we've been discussing the majority of the week, I would say, was spending time reacting to Arkansas's win against Texas. I would say really the Georgia-Southern conversation kind of kicked off on Thursday when Tom gave a better preview. Clay did on Friday as well, and again, we'll hear from Clay coming up. But this is, I would say, a Georgia Southern team, Tommy. I don't think they're the equivalent of the team that went to Gainesville and beat the Gators back in 2013.
No. This program's not competing at that level right now. But Arkansas, I think the challenge, as we've talked about, is gathering focus early in this game. We heard Sam Pittman come out after Tuesday's practice, not pleased, not satisfied with the way his team practiced. You could almost predicted that storyline coming. So, to me, the story's still about how does Arkansas play out of the gate. I'll be double impressed and really give some extra kudos, not just to the team, but the coaches, if they come out and score early on their first offensive possession, force a 3-and-out with their defense and put Georgia Southern back on the bench and force them to punt, with a quick 3-and-out defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost, if you could bet this, a sluggish start and maybe some opportunity for the Eagles early in this ballgame. That's just the natural reaction we always see when you have a big emotional win. That hangover seems to carry over into the first half of your following game, particularly against an opponent like Georgia Southern.
I think the expectation, Tommy, is just what you referred to. When you look at this game today, I've said it like you said it all week. You just want to see things that you haven't necessarily seen initially off the bat. Arkansas, even this past week against Texas, we know the dominant performance they put together, but you went 3-and-out opening possession. You did stop Texas on the other side, but then you had that muff punt. Luckily enough, Greg Brooks and the Texas opponent were out of bounds, and it changed the course of that football game. But you would like to jump on them early, step on the neck, and don't let it up. That's the mentality that you want to have in this game. And I don't know if Georgia Southern has the will or just talent to stay with you for 2 or 3 quarters, but you want to show the college football world that last week wasn't a fluke and just dominate an inferior opponent that everyone expects and that you should today.
Saban rants and raves sometimes on weeks like this with an opponent of this nature, but you know what they often don't do is they don't have sluggish starts. You can probably point to a few things here and there, probably more after a big conference game. They're more susceptible to that the following week, but it's rare. I'm not saying it never happens, but it's rare, and that's what the great teams do. I'm not suggesting Arkansas is in that category, but if you want to progress towards that, this would be an opportunity to show your team, to coach your team, to lead your team in the right path, the right direction. That's what the great teams do. They don't have the hangovers. So avoid that today. I'm not saying you're a great football team. I'm just saying you're picking up a habit of what great teams do.
You want to get into that category where people just expect you to just demolish these guys. And I think back to what you're saying about Alabama and Nick Saban, the expectation from him and what he does, and I think similar to what Sam Pittman did this week, is he has to motivate his guys either through the media, some way, shape, or form, because the talent gap today, Tommy, is going to be pretty widespread, right? And so you have to find a way to get you have to find a way to get in with these guys and say, hey, we're still not in a position. I know y'all just clobbered Texas, but we're still not in a position where we can overlook anyone. It doesn't matter. But luckily, is what we've talked about throughout the week, you have so many super seniors, so many veterans on this squad that I'm going to be hard-pressed to assume this team is going to overlook Georgia Southern.
All right, we don't have a lot of scores to get to early this morning. We'll look at the schedule coming up, brought to you by Bud Light, brewed to be perfect from anywhere there's fun, because when there's fun, there's Bud Light and Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft. Every bottle, can, draft of Bud Light uses 4 simple, high-quality ingredients to create a clean, crisp taste. Bud Light, please drink responsibly. We have heard from the publisher of Hogs Illustrated. He'll be on with us in just under an hour to begin the 11 a.m. hour, and we'll get his thoughts as we'll move a little bit closer to game time, now inside 5 hours to kickoff. And you can hear the game right here on ESPN Arkansas.
There we go. Can't wait. All right, coming up in the program, we're still got a lot to discuss, and we want your calls, your texts, your text at 877-377-6963. This is Arkansas Game Day live from Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Whenever you want to call a dealership Truck Central, you come to my friends at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Whether you're looking for a new F-150, oh, by the way, 0% interest for 72 months through the end of the month. Whether you're looking for a pre-owned GMC Sierra, if you're looking for a pre-owned Chevrolet, If you're looking for a pre-owned Dodge with a big Hemi engine, how about a Dodge with the Rebel package on it? We have that as well. If you're looking for Raptors, we have several to choose from. It's Truck Central, my friends. And the 0% interest for 72 months continues through the end of the month at Randall Ford. So when you're thinking about a truck, new or pre-owned, the place to shop, the place to be, the place to save money is 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Don't forget, you can always shop us online. We encourage you to check out our inventory at randallford.com.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
Crabtree RV Center, leading the River Valley in sales and service for over 70 years. Founded in 1950, Crabtree RV Center has grown into one of the largest family-owned and operated RV dealerships in Northwest Arkansas. Located on 17 acres, including a 26,000 square foot indoor showroom. Crabtree RV Center has everything you need, all in one convenient location. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, Arkansas, making your family's dreams come true.
When fun finally returns, Bud Light legends don't just come back. They come roaring back, carrying a cooler full of Bud Lights, an inflatable dolphin, and those Velcro pads with the balls that stick to them. And this summer, with a cooler at their side, they're gonna make up for all the fun we've missed. Welcome back, Bud Light legends. It's time to take summer by the coolers. Cooler up at BudLightLegends.com. Enjoy responsibly. 2021 AB Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Arkansas Prostate Cancer Foundation is reaching out to men and their families all across Arkansas. Know your stats. 1 in 9 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. Stay in the game. All men ages 45 to 75 should see a doctor to consider a screening for prostate cancer. Don't sit on the sideline. Prostate cancer is nearly 100% survivable if caught early. For more information, visit arprostatecancer.org.
Winter is just around the corner. At AOG, we realize some customers are facing new challenges because of the pandemic. We're here to help. Our customer service team can offer payment options or direct you to utility payment assistance agencies in your area for help. Please call us at 1-800-842-5690 or visit AOGC.com. Thank you for being a valued AOG customer. We're all in this together.
Law's Drugstore in Fort Smith has COVID vaccinations available today for you and your family. Law's Drugstore has the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 and up. The vaccine is safe and effective in preventing severe cases of COVID. Just call 452-6116 to schedule your appointment or stop by Law's Drugstore at 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family. Call them now, 452-6116.
For more than 80 years, Forest Grin Inc. has been building the foundations of the River Valley and beyond. Forest Grin, a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence, is now hiring experienced dump truck drivers. CDL Class A or B license with medical card is required. Apply now from any mobile device at forestgrininc.com, a heritage company and a premier employer. Forest Grin offers top wages and benefits. Apply today at forestgrininc.com. Become part of the Forest Grin legacy. Apply now on any device at forestgrininc.com. Forest Grin Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
Are you in need of roofing repairs or maybe more? Construction Master Roofing, who has been under new management since 2019 with over 25 years of experience, is who you need to call. Estimates are free, and military, first responders, and medical workers receive 5% off. Construction Master Roofing guarantees their work, and the number you need to call is 648-8888 in the River Valley, and in Oklahoma, call 918-859-4714. Construction Master Roofing, the roofing company that cares and gets the job done.
Have you walked down into your garage or your driveway and noticed that leak coming from underneath your vehicle? Well, maybe it's time you see the professionals at CSI Radiator Repair. From commercial and industrial to cars, trucks, SUVs, motorhomes, and farm equipment. If it has a radiator, CSI can flush and fill it today. Or if it's leaking, they can fix that too. Aluminum TIG welding is also available, so stop by CSI Radiator at 3204 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith or give them a call at 434-6034. CSI Radiator, a great place to take a leak.
ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
Got a good question from Logan in Piggott, and again, you're welcome to hop in here as well. Logan says, do you see this game as one that Kendall Briles tries the passing game next week into A&M? I know that we need to continue to run the ball, but I think KJ's confidence in the passing game is going to be key headed into next week. Tommy, I think that's one of the things that you, I, and Clay talked about. If Georgia Southern stacks the line of scrimmage, you'd love to see KJ Jefferson air it out a little bit, not just to Traylon Burks to get him more involved this season, but some of these younger guys that you've heard so much about in this offseason.
Yes, and you know what the SEC defenses are going to do. They're going to force Arkansas to throw the football until you prove you can, and you can accurately throw it, because they've got the corners and the safeties to go man coverage on guys like Traylon Burks and the rest of your wide receivers. Warren, just keep going down that list, and Arkansas's got some talent there. You're going to have to prove you can throw it accurately from the pocket. You can protect your quarterback, because you can bet they're going to put the clamps in SEC defenses, starting with A&M, certainly with Georgia, certainly on down the line with some others, have the ability to go man and not bring the extra safety or anyone from the secondary into the box. So can you throw it accurately? Can you move the ball when you can't run it through the air? That's going to be one of the question marks with Arkansas's offense moving forward.
We got a text also from Arlington Hogg that says his family's quarantined today. He has 4 in the north end zone, as anyone wants them. Do you want them?
No, I think I'll pass today. The other thing we might find out is, even when they stack the box, we have a lot of respect for these other SEC defenses. Ty, we might just find out Arkansas can still run the ball, and that will be interesting. But then you've got to be able to make them pay with that long pass. I think we've seen some shades of that, but I'll be interesting to see how far this run game can go. We got a taste of it with Texas. I'm still not comfortable that we know how good Texas really is yet.
Well, you go back to 2006, 2007, Tommy, when you'd see 8 in the box pretty consistently, and Darren McFadden and Felix Jones and company could still run it.
Right.
And that was what was incredible, because of how potent your offensive line was. They just refused. It didn't matter the challenge. It didn't matter how many guys were up close to the line of scrimmage. They battered and beated people, man. Yeah. And now they didn't have a passing game in 06 or 07 for the most part, and you're hoping that KJ can be a lot more solidified and sufficient in that area.
Yeah, but, you had a prolific receiver with Monk. I think you've got one with Burks. What I'd like to see today, and we spoke about this with Clay yesterday, is I think Burks needs to have a game where he gets on track. You've yet to see him have 100 yards. I'd like to see him, able to run freely in an offense today that he can get 9, 10, 11 catches that total up somewhere near 100 yards or more, and he doesn't have to play a full game, but statistically gets on track today. That's what you also need to see out of this game. And I just wonder if, as Kendall Briles and his staff, maybe Dow Loggins and certainly Sam Pittman, put the game plan together back a few days ago earlier in the week, was that on the bullet points of priorities? Is, hey, let's get Burks going. Let's that rust that had built up from missing some practices at the end of camp. Is that knocked off? Is he ready to go? Because you would think, Ty, today is a day he could show out a little bit.
Yeah, statistically, I think he's a guy that you want to be able to get on track, as you just said, because for whatever reason, these first 2 games, we know about the injury in the first game and the second game. I'm not throwing the ball. It's like Sam Pittman said. I think someone either in the post-game press conference or during the week asked him about passing the football, and it's like, well, if we're averaging 7 yards to carry, I'm running it every time, and I think that's the way to look at it. And from a standpoint of an Arkansas fan, the blue-collar aspect that you feel that this team is embodied by your head football coach, I think just running it down people's throats. Now, again, like we're talking about, you'd like to have an aerial attack when needed, but it's just fun to beat up on someone, as we've said consistently throughout the week, and there's nothing they can do to stop about it.
But, there's also elements of your passing game that are much like the run, the receiver screen game, the bubble screens, the low-risk passes behind the line of scrimmage, short passes that you can involve Burks, get your other receivers, get the blocking out there and get Burks some yards. So while I agree that, your run game was pretty dominant against Texas, and the stats show that with, 7.1 yards a carry and 330-plus yards, you don't have to run everything between the tackles. So sometimes even the passing game can have the feel and the effect of the run game depending on how you're going about it. You don't have to throw every football down the field. I just think there should be, or maybe there is, in my opinion, I hope to see Burks, who's a preseason All-American, preseason All-Conference player, kind of start getting some of those type of performances. It's one thing to be preseason on a list. It's a much different thing to be on there come December.
Daniel texts in, he says, Arkansas 30, Georgia Southern 20, thinks there's going to be a letdown. We've got, let's see, where'd this text go? I think it's Shane and Van Buren's on the other side. He said 63-17, there's not going to be any letdown. And I think what Shane and Van Buren also adds is what Coach Sam Pittman and his staff have done is completely amazing. He doesn't think there's a lot of other coaches out there that can turn it around this quick. And what you want to continue on, Tommy, is with this momentum. You want to keep that stretch going. It's one thing to beat Texas and do it in the manner and form of fashion the way you did. You want to stretch that continued success against clobbering Georgia Southern at 3 o'clock today, and then head into Jerry World next week with the mentality that you're going to win that football game, and there not be anything in the back mirror that you say, I don't know I don't like how this went last week. We got to clean this up.
Yeah. So you don't want to have any hiccups or doubts, and I think I'm more interested in the focus of how this team comes out. And again, I expect maybe the first quarter or so to be a little bit of a slow, well, not dicey, but just slow. Maybe you punt a time or two more than you'd like. Maybe the defense allows a first down or two more than you would like. But I think what you've seen through the first two games through Rice and Texas is Arkansas's line play has won the day in both games, but that doesn't happen in the first quarter. You don't just break an opponent's will in the first 15 or 30 minutes of a ball game generally. That takes time. It's a cumulative effect. And I think what we saw the first two games is in the mid to late third quarter, that's when Arkansas took over. I'd like to see that timeline maybe bumped up a little bit today, and we'll just see what happens in that regard. I think that's one thing to watch. Arkansas's line will win the battle. How soon will they win that battle today?
Yeah, just expedite the process a little bit, and especially with the –
But first quarter is not reasonable. I mean, if you think that's going to happen, so that's where your stars have to show out. That's where Burks and K.J. Jefferson and Traylon Smith, and I think there's some great young wide receivers that really showed out last week with A.J. Green and Rocket Sanders. So I think those guys can just use their skill in what should be an SEC roster versus a Sun Belt roster today to separate this team early.
One of the things I was talking with John David about last week, which Huddle Up tomorrow is going to feature Hudson Clark. Really excited to have Hudson on the program. You can listen to that on our Hit That Line podcast network. It's just the physicality that you saw from the wide receivers getting the running backs in the end zone. Go watch 2010, 2011, 2009, how physical Joe Adams, Jarius Wright, and others were blocking, not just for running backs, for themselves as well. And I was watching these guys last week. I mean, they were just putting the cornerbacks and the safeties out of bounds. It was awesome to watch. And now you'd like to see them get a little more, not just blocking time, Tommy, but passing time and those wide receiver screens they are discussing. They ran this thing last year. It was a read option where they would fake it to Traylon Smith inside. Felipe would roll out like he was running a speed option and then throw it to Burks on that bubble screen, essentially, because you had two other guys on the far side that'd be blocking for him, and I thought that was a unique play. I hadn't seen that to this point. At some point, they're going to run that with K.J. Jefferson, and Burks is going to have 10, 15 yards of open field ahead of him and probably take it to the house.
Yeah, so, are there new wrinkles today? I mean, you also start and look at will Arkansas try or work on something new? Why would you and put anything on film in a game like this? But it's also a chance to some things you practiced on back in August and, maybe even back in the spring that you haven't had a chance to bring that part of the playbook into a game, gives other teams down the road and next week something to think about, something else to prepare for, a different look. That'll be another thing to watch for today, offensively and defensively. We've seen defensively 4-man and 3-man fronts. Does Barry Odom throw another wrinkle in there just to play the chess game with SEC offensive coordinators? Does Kendall Briles do some of the same thing? Hey, we'll bring a new chapter of the playbook in, and another formation or two, another pre-snap look or two to just show it on film and give defensive coordinators around the league, one other thing to think about. Or do you keep that under wraps? That'll be another interesting thing to see if there's any different personnel groupings or formations today on both sides of the ball.
We're live here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, where they have new Ford F-150s in stock, new Super Duties in stock, plus the all-new Bronco is here on site. It's the hottest selling SUV. That, or Ford F-150, is a great tailgating vehicle. I know some of you have purchased season tickets after what happened against Texas. Well, you need the vehicle to tailgate. You need the vehicle for your kids, your friends, your family. So whether it's an F-150 or whether it's a Bronco, this is the place to be. They've been serving the River Valley since 1908, and Randall Ford is the fourth oldest Ford store in America. Come on by and see us. We're at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Still a lot to get to here on Arkansas Game Day. Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, set to join us. Your calls, your text at 877-377-6963. We've been taking score requests. We've been taking reaction. And we'll continue on another hour and a half of Arkansas Game Day.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
So this one time at B-Dubs, a couple of friends came in for football, and they asked for the best seats in the house, which is kind of a trick question. Since we've got wall-to-wall TVs, you can watch the game in any direction. Kind of makes every seat in the house the best seat in the house. So when I explained all that, they just sat at the bar, because you got to be close to the beer on game days. Come into Buffalo Wild Wings for the absolute best game day experience the NFL can offer. Buffalo Wild Wings, to the greatest of all times.
Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Please drink responsibly.
Growing up, my parents always encouraged me to do what's right, even if it wasn't easy. I'd always hear my mother's voice say, "Do the right thing." That stuck with me. Every day, just do the right thing. That's it. The rest takes care of itself.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe in doing the right thing for our customers and our communities.
Ask Shelter agents Tiffany Newman or Warren Robertson about a free insurance review.
Bro, your fridge is empty. You need to make a beer run.
Nah, bro. I just ordered my beer from Sodies on their new app. They're bringing the beer to me.
Yeah! Your favorite store for wine, beer, and spirits now offers delivery in the Fort Smith area. Order online at mysodies.com or on the Sodies app. Must be 21 or older and show ID upon delivery. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
When you're looking for a lawyer, you want one you can trust, someone you can count on to be there no matter what, someone to have your back when life doesn't. You want someone to call your lawyer. One phone call to the law offices of Andrea Stone Hanna and your problems are solved.
242-5874, that's 242-5874.
No one likes divorce, but having the right lawyer makes all the difference in the world. Family law and criminal law, one call. 242-5874, that's 242-5874. The law offices of Andrea Stone Hanna, PLLC. Go Hogs.
A big fall hunting and fishing sale is underway Thursday through Saturday at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith. The big tent and the store are full of savings on tree stands, hunting clothing, rods and reels, hunting boots, archery equipment, and much more. Jelco has added a new tip-top selection of Western boots with introductory savings. Just arrived a big shipment of 22 long rifle, 12-gauge buckshot, and 5.56 ammo. It's Jelco Outdoors Fall Hunting and Fishing Sale. Now through Saturday at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
If you're headed out to the tailgate this weekend, make sure you can watch all the games with a Playmaker from World of Wireless, the easy-to-use, portable satellite system.
Call WOW now, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 in the River Valley. Serving your hometown satellite, tailgating, portable TV needs for 26 years now. But you got to give us a call or come by and see us right at the light next to Frank Rowe Furniture and Barling at our new location.
The Playmaker's easy. It weighs 8 pounds. You don't have to point it any direction. You set it out, give it clear line of sight. it will line up all the satellites for you.
Yes, and you can change channels easy, and it's high definition. You get all your local channels with it also, all your ESPNs or whatever you have in your package. Add it to your account, start a new account, or upgrade into it.
And the Playmaker Duo can power 2 TVs at one time as well. Ask about that when you call World of Wireless. Get ready for the weekend at World of Wireless with a Playmaker, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474.
ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
Got a text in here live from Randall Ford out of the 479. Who's Texas play this week? Well, Tommy, they play Rice today, and it's going to be curious to see what the Owls have in store for the Longhorns coming off a brutal defeat in Fayetteville. How do you think that game shakes out?
Oh, I think kind of like, Oklahoma had a close game with Tulane. They won that game, but a lot of people were critical about how close that game was in Norman. And then last week they played Western Carolina, and what was it, 76-0? I don't know if it'll be 76-0 against Rice, but I expect Texas to come out and make a statement to kind of calm a lot of things down. I know that's not a rival, but it is an in-state school, so I expect Big Brother to kind of flex some muscles today, and I'd be surprised if Texas didn't win by, 4 touchdowns or more.
Curious to see what happens with their quarterback situation between Hudson Card and Casey Thompson.
Yeah.
If you remember, Thompson had the really good bowl game this past season, and then Card ends up getting the starting job. Looks really bad against Arkansas, and there were some drop passes that could have gone his way, but Thompson comes in, leaves 2 touchdowns, and so C. Sarkisian is going to have to figure that quarterback situation out. And I wonder, like with Texas the rest of the way, it's so weird to think and say, but you want them to kind of have success so that win looks better. It's kind of – so I was listening coming in earlier, Tommy.
But if they didn't win another game, that'd be okay, too.
Yeah, you want it one way or another. I was listening coming in with the Cincinnati. They're taking on Indiana today. Indiana got housed by Iowa early on in the season, and Iowa beat both of them and Iowa State. And for Cincinnati, you would have much rather Indiana have beaten that first game against the Hawkeyes.
Right.
And I know that's not a rival, but we know how the optics look if Texas ends up being really bad in Arkansas. You want them to look. You want the win to look better.
2 weeks ago, Indiana was in the top 20.
Yeah.
And this would have been maybe one of the games of the day. Cincinnati and Indiana would have been 2 top 15 teams, and now this is just an also ran here at 11 a.m. this morning. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. You really need Texas to keep Arkansas's metrics and just the quality of that win. If not, yeah, you won, and it counts for Arkansas fans, but nationally, when you look back, the value of that win, if you're coming down to it for bowl assignments or, for other things that you value at the end of the year, it won't have anything to do with your conference standings, obviously, but the way people perceive your team, the quality of Texas season moving forward, it does matter. So you want that win to hold up down the road, and the opinion on it to be in higher value.
So we're not necessarily going to get into our Bud Light scoreboard here because it's still 10:30 in the morning, but we are going to look at some games later on today. Now, the game that's kind of synced up with the Razorbacks is the 2:30 game between the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Florida Gators. Alabama is a 14.5-point favorite down in Gainesville. I think this is the largest. I think it was SEC home or road. I can't. They said it this morning, and I'm going to butcher it, but. Tommy, there's not a lot of people that expect Florida not just to win the game, but stay competitively in it. How do you see this game shaking out in the Swamp today?
Alabama's been the most complete team through 2 games, offensive, defensive, and special teams. That a lot of teams have gotten off to a 2-0 start. And I look at like Georgia, for instance. We watched them against Clemson, a very good football team, but their offense struggled to score points. Alabama, I know they played Miami and then Mercer, but they look the most complete. This will be, I think, maybe their best test because I think Florida's better than Miami. So, but until proven otherwise, I think you just go broke betting against Alabama. So, I would go with the odds makers here and say that Alabama's going to be more than 2 touchdowns better than Florida. I don't know if it'll be 4 touchdowns like some think in a blowout. The over-under on this one is, 50? So, Yeah, we'll see. I think Alabama right now, while they're healthy early, can probably go down and handle Florida by more than 2 touchdowns.
Stepping outside the SEC, now if you throw this game in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, this is the biggest game, not of just today, but maybe the college football season between Oklahoma and Nebraska. Instead, Scott Frost and company find themselves in dangerous waters. They could start up this season 2-2, taking on the Sooners, having to go to Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. My roommate's down there, Tommy. He's excited, and this is a game where Oklahoma's favored by 19.5. 19.5 against Nebraska.
And it's a big moment for Nebraska because no one believes in you. Everyone's doubted you. You've won a couple of games. What was it, Fordham and Buffalo you beat to get to 2-1 after losing to Illinois. And then we're talking about Texas and them holding up. Well, Illinois went on to lose, to lose to UT San Antonio and then get just housed by Virginia. So that loss looks even worse for Nebraska at this point. Here's a chance, even if you lose today, Ty, even if Nebraska can't win this football game, if you could keep it close in the fourth quarter, people might jump back a little bit on the Nebraska train. Nebraska plays OU today, then they travel to play Michigan State too before playing Northwestern. So they got a 3-week stretch on the road here at Oklahoma, Michigan State, and Northwestern that doesn't look good.
I know a game that maybe for some you're like, oh, why does this matter? Texas A&M and New Mexico is intriguing to me for a couple ways. One, Zach Calzada, how does he look in his first start as an Aggie? 2, former Kentucky quarterback Terry Wilson is down there as an RPO guy for New Mexico. Now, Clay quizzed me on this last week or the week before. Tommy, is it the Lobos or is it it's the Lobos, right? That's their mascot?
Well, you got New Mexico and then New Mexico State. So this is the Lobos in New Mexico. So what is New Mexico State then?
It's the Aggies, right?
There you go.
Okay.
You got the 2 right. You just got to pair them with the right school. So State is the Aggies, and playing up, straight original full pop New Mexico is the Lobos.
So it's not Aggies v. Aggies. It's Lobos versus Aggies today. And this is
what is a Lobo?
A Lobo's a wolf, right?
I think that's their mascot. It's some kind of wolf-looking creature.
Okay.
So
yeah. So just keep an eye on that game. I think Texas A&M still going to win it pretty handily. But what does Zach Calzada do for Texas A&M? How does he look? Hopefully he looks terrible, so he doesn't have a lot of confidence heading in to Jerry World this next week. But Tommy, as you said, he'd probably look like the Heisman Trophy quarterback equivalent the following week.
Well, everybody thinks because he looked bad in relief duty, he's going to look bad forever. Keep in mind, how many, with a young quarterback at Haynes King, how much practice snaps was he getting with the first team going into these first couple weeks? Probably not many, probably less than 10%. So he's gotten them all. They've coached him up. So it'll be interesting to see. I expect by the time he comes to the Arkansas game next week in Arlington, he'll look much more like an SEC starter. So a shaky performance today, though, might rattle his confidence. But at home, Kyle Field, 11 a.m., I'm expecting A&M, who is a 30-point favorite in this game, to probably have an easy time against a Mountain West team.
Auburn, Penn State, Whiteout, game day. This is going to be a fun atmosphere in Happy Valley State College. We were talking with David Fuchs, former Morning Rush producer, a couple weeks ago. That's where he is a graduate from. And I told him, I was like, man, I have to go to that atmosphere one of these days, these next couple of years. Well, this would be a great one to be at. They don't get Ohio State at home this year, so and they play, I can't think of their other big-time game that's a whiteout. But, Tommy, this is going to be a great football game, not just in terms of atmosphere, but in terms of just the SEC Big Ten. I saw Peter Burns put this out, that the Big Ten has a 1-8 record against SEC opponents, and these last couple years, this is a chance for James Franklin and company to make a statement and maybe silence some of the Franklin to USC rumors a little.
So if you're like me today, you're going to watch on the patio. You got 2 TVs going. Think about this: you got Oklahoma, Nebraska that you can put on at 11, big time names. Alabama, Florida will be in Wave 2. And then, to me, this is the game of the day I'm probably most looking forward to outside of watching our Razorbacks is Auburn and Penn State. 6:30 tonight. It's on ABC. I think this is going to be the game to watch maybe of the day because I'm with you. I think Alabama, Florida may get out of hand. I think Auburn can go to Penn State and maybe hang for a while. So we're going to find out a lot about Auburn, who Arkansas has at home this year. How do you want this one to go? Do you want Auburn to kind of get rolled up a little bit? Penn State's favored by 5, or You want you're going to be chanting SEC. How do fans here at Arkansas view this game tonight? I always find that intriguing.
I don't want them to win because it would look better if you beat them at home in October. Now, that's weird saying it. Some people might be taken aback by that statement. But I've always thought if you play a team that's better and has a better conference record or overall record, it makes you beating them look that much better. And it makes the college football world look at you that much more. That's the perspective I have. I don't think a lot of Arkansas or Arkansans have that same mutual feeling. But I just always am of the belief that it looks better from an optics and win standpoint when you beat a team that has more wins on their resume.
Well, I know you just about give up a kidney to get Arkansas or to get game day to Arkansas. I guess if you ever want that to happen, your best chance this season would be for Auburn to be that game when you look forward. So to make that happen, a lot of things have to fall in place, beginning with Auburn winning against Penn State, Arkansas winning against A&M next week. So these are some of the very early dominoes for your lifelong dream to come true, which would be to have game day back in Arkansas. So if that's the goal of Ty Richardson, you've got to root for Auburn today, because I think that's the only shot for Kirk Herbstreit to gel up his hair in Washington County this year to see Auburn and Arkansas do that, and they're going to have to win some ball games. A top 10 win would be a step in the right direction.
Maybe next year featuring LSU and Alabama coming back to Fayetteville is a better destination. But I don't see – I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong, Tommy. Auburn has to go to LSU and beat Georgia at home prior to playing Arkansas. They're going to either lose both of those games or lose one of those games.
Oh, I think the path's real skinny.
Tonight.
I think the path is really skinny for that to ever happen. But bottom line is, I think you want Auburn to win it, unless you have a rooting interest for Penn State. You kind of want, and it's not a SEC thing. It's just, again, the quality of the wins that Arkansas could have down the line improve with Auburn winning on the road tonight. And you want to play good teams. So I don't want Auburn to be. I want Auburn to be a good team when they get here.
And I will say this: I know a good contingency of Razorback fans are going to be making their way to Jerry World next week. That's the only game outside of Wisconsin and Notre Dame, which is on Fox, that is a top 25 matchup at this moment in time. And then the following week, Arkansas, Georgia very easily could be slated up in that 6 o'clock ESPN game. So the Razorbacks could be featured on College Game Day. It's just not going to be in their home stadium. So just something to think about.
Does that still count for you?
I guess, especially if it's in Georgia. I mean, Tommy, that would only amplify my trip to Athens if College Game Day was down there. We'll have to wait and see on that. So a lot to get to here at Arkansas Game Day, live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. We've got a question from Zach and a question from Scrapper from New Blaine talking about the quarterback situation, both on KJ Jefferson and Malik Hornsby. We'll answer that coming up. Keep it right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Whenever you want to call a dealership Truck Central, you come to my friends at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Whether you're looking for a new F-150, oh, by the way, 0% interest for 72 months through the end of the month. Whether you're looking for a pre-owned GMC Sierra, if you're looking for a pre-owned Chevrolet, if you're looking for a pre-owned Dodge with a big Hemi engine, how about a Dodge with the Rebel package on it? We have that as well. If you're looking for Raptors, we have several to choose from. It's Truck Central, my friends. And the 0% interest for 72 months continues through the end of the month at Randall Ford. So when you're thinking about a truck, new or pre-owned, the place to shop, the place to be, the place to save money is 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Don't forget, you can always shop us online. We encourage you to check out our inventory at randallford.com.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
Lock in your price for the next 2 years. When you make the move to Dish right now, call 877-305-DISH. It's football season. Ben, you've had a lot of calls. People that have cut the cord, went streaming only, and they just don't like watching football that way. Come back to Dish now.
Guys, it's time. It's simple. Call 877-305-DISH. It's our local number. It's a toll-free number. It rings into our local store. We've been serving the River Valley for 26 years, a premier Dish retailer. It's football season. It's time to get back to watching TV with traditional satellite TV service so you can flip channels, recall channels, go to the next channel,
record games,
pause live TV, sports bar mode where you can watch 4 games at once with the hopper. It's just easier, and it's HD, and in some games in the future with bowl games, some of the NFL games, 4K. The Hopper 3 is 4K ready, but you got to call us, and we'll throw in a $100 Visa gift card this weekend before the game.
Also ask about the Playmaker system, the easy-to-use portable tailgating satellite system from World of Wireless. Call 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Ashley Air is proud to be an official sponsor of Razorback Athletics. Our service to the River Valley began in 1958, the same year that the legendary Frank Broyles took over as football coach. The Hogs have had some great coaches, but we've never had so many on campus all at once. Sam Pittman, Eric Musselman, Dave Van Horn, and Mike Neighbors, just to name a few. What an incredible team. We put together quite a team at Ashley Air, too. On game day, call the Hogs. When your AC breaks, call Ashley Air.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV? What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Ask Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Jeff Clark in Fort Smith about Shelter's home insurance.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
The roof and exterior of your home is an investment that requires the highest quality of workmanship. Russell Exterior only delivers the best of the best. They can restore or replace your roof, siding, or gutters with quality and precision so that you can have peace of mind knowing that your family is safe. They work with all insurance companies to repair or replace all damages caused by wind, water, or hail. Call Russell Exterior today at 479-551-2093. Check them out today at russellexterior.com.
ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
So we got this question from Scrapper in New Blaine texted in, and you're more than welcome to hop in there as well. Tommy, they're asking, will we see Malik Hornsby today? He needs to get some game reps in case KJ Jefferson would get hurt. Tommy, if I had to guess, I would say a good chunk of the second half we're going to see some Malik Hornsby.
Well, I don't know what you're going to see, but I think we all hope that's what we see. We hope this game is at a state and a comfortable margin where you don't feel like you'd have to restart your starters. And maybe Kendall Browse and Sam Pittman have worked up a plan where there is a second or third or fourth series in this ball game. There's good and bad to that. But I would like to see more of Malik Hornsby. Obviously, what was that, a 44-yard run? I don't have the box score right in front of me from Texas last week. But, the one time he got loose, I mean, you could see the skill and the speed. So you want to get more comfortable with the backup quarterback. You want to make sure he feels like there's a plan for him moving forward. That transfer portal makes a lot of people nervous when you know you've got some talent standing over there. So finding him spots to play today seems like a ripe opportunity. You hope it works out.
Let's go and welcome in Jordan here from Randall Ford. We're at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Jordan, Arkansas got a massive win this past week. I know you and I, that's the first time we talked about when we talked in. It was a lot of chipper Razorback fans have walked through these doors this past week, I would suspect.
Absolutely, man. The environment is just something else, especially when you get that big win over Texas.
Yeah, and I know a lot of fans have made their way here to pick up their great tailgating vehicles, whether it's the F-150 or the Bronco. I mean, those are two of the best, if not the best, when it comes to that type of game day atmosphere.
Absolutely, and we've got plenty of them, man. And we just got a shipment of used Bronco Sports in. Low miles. People are going to be all over these things.
You guys have been doing this for a long time. Fourth oldest Ford dealership in America. Been here since 1908. Why do people keep coming back?
Man, I'd like to say it's a family environment. We just keep plugging away from you. We want to make sure we're working for our customers so they get the best value for the dollar.
And you look at the categories, not only that customers keep coming back, but they've nominated you for Best of the Best and Best News Car, Best Used Car, Best Salesman, and Rocky Pruitt, who we just saw, Best Body Shop, Best Service Department. So you guys aren't just like a one-stop shop. You have so many different entities here that people can take advantage of.
Absolutely. Being able to take care of a customer from start to finish really makes a difference. We want you to stay here and keep coming back to Randall Ford.
Tell me about this all-new Ford Maverick that people have been talking about.
Dude, it's going to be something else, Ty. It really gives a buyer who's on a limited budget something that they can come and say, hey, I've got a pickup, I've got that bed I need to go do my jobs around town. It's a really awesome vehicle.
Well, I'm really excited for the games today. How are you going to stay focused with all these college football games on, man?
Man, it's tough. It really is tough with all being game day.
Well, stop on by and see Jordan and his team at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Appreciate it, buddy, as always.
Take care.
All right, good stuff from Jordan here at Randall Ford. Tommy, tailgating-wise, what are we expecting out there as people make their way up here from River Valley, Harrison Mountain Home, Hot Springs, East Arkansas? Like, what? There's some good food on the docket. Ribs.
Ribs are always
wings.
my go-to. Brisket, 3 o'clock start. So, I mean, you think about it today, it's a lunch tailgate, right? Last time you kind of had a lunch and late dinner tailgate. So that's always the challenge with 11 a.m. starts. Do you do breakfast or do you tailgate really after the game? You snack. So the key to any good tailgate is snacks, I think. Yes, you got to have the brisket or the ribs or the pulled pork or whatever the star of the show is, but it's never complete unless you got the right salties, right? You got to have chips and the peanuts or some kind of good salties, and then to balance that, there's got to be some kind of chocolate or sweets that are easy to pick up. You don't have to slice pie or cake or something on game day. You just need something you can grab and go to the stadium with on your way to the stadium. So, and of course, cold drinks. A 3 o'clock game, lots of ice today to make sure your waters are staying cold today at the tailgate.
Have you pulled the trigger on that Fireball keg yet for Laura?
I have not. I'm waiting
Just
on.
to have...
Fireball is great when it's colder weather. That's probably more of a Mississippi State tailgate type deal.
Yeah, that is a good point. My Dr. Pepper and Fireball that gets left, the flaming Dr. Peppers.
Why would you ruin good Fireball with Dr. Pepper?
I love me some Dr. Pepper Coke with Fireball. I've been drinking it since I was
Fireball's sweet enough as it is.
Yeah, that is true, but the combination is just perfect, especially on a cold fall night in Fayetteville, Arkansas. But that's
why I always keep my bottle of Fireball in the freezer when I do get one.
Smart man. So
gotta be cold.
Well, so we got about another hour here on Arkansas Game Day, and really the question that we keep coming back to is the quarterback situation. What's going to keep happening with the Arkansas offense? I think you're going to see a lot more passing attack from this Arkansas offense today, Tommy, and I think that Georgia Southern is going to make KJ Jefferson, based on the film that they saw last week. One, it would be awesome if they put 8 or 9 guys in the box, or 7 or 8, and Arkansas could still run the football. But you'd also like to see them stretch the field a little bit more too, as well.
They know either way can be dangerous. Can Arkansas adjust depending on what the defense is giving. If the safeties come down, can they adjust? If they back up and they're playing deeper, can you take advantage? We'll talk about that coming up with Clay Henry here in about 10 minutes here on Arkansas Game Day.
Yeah, we'll see how many fans are going to be in Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium as well. They've sold some more season tickets. Depends on how many fans are going to be up here as well. But as Tommy said, Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, joins us next in hour number 2 of Arkansas Game Day.
Hanging out with my friends at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Hey, Jeremy, the Venom R. I don't even need to say anything else.
Jimmy, it's the hottest truck in the market right now. It's fully customized, upfitted, class exclusive to Randall Ford. You have to see them to believe them. These trucks are flying out of here as quick as we get them done.
People, all they have to do is just come by and check them out.
Just come by, say, hey, I want to see the Venom R. You will not be disappointed.
5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Come see the Venom R's today at Randall Ford.
To some, that may just sound like ice hitting heavy-duty plastic. But to a Bud Light legend, it's a signal that says it's time. Time to dust off the barbecue tongs and load up the cooler with 37 Bud Lights and an assortment of dips. Because it's time to take back all the fun we've missed. Welcome back, Bud Light legends. Let's take summer by the coolers. Cooler up at BudLightLegends.com. Enjoy responsibly. 2021 AB Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, back again with our good friends at World of Wireless. Call 877-305-DISH. If you cut the cord in the last year or two and now football season's back and you can't switch between games, you don't enjoy the experience as much, Ben, you can get DISH in your home for as low as $80 a month.
Get back to traditional TV where you can watch all your sports, have picture-in-a-picture going, and with the Hopper, you can have 4 games at once on your big screen, by the way.
And a full DVR capability, too.
Full DVR recording, instant replay on your own. The main thing is you got to call us at World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH. Less than $80 a month gets you 3 TVs. You don't have to worry. And all 3 TVs are sharing the same recordings. Traditional satellite TV is more affordable than ever. Your price is guaranteed for 2 years, and it's just easier to watch sports. So get back to watching sports the way you like it, changing those channels, talking to your remote, telling you to find this game, find that game on your remote. It finds your games for you.
It's better than streaming, and it's at a low cost right now with DISH and World of Wireless, and lock it in for 2 years. 877-305-DISH for World of Wireless.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about renter's insurance.
Messy leaks, stopped up toilets and sinks, all of these can be a nightmare. This is Emily with Mr. Rooter Plumbing in Fort Smith. Did you know that when you call Mr. Rooter, you get real-time tracking so you know exactly when to expect us? We know you're busy, so we send a reminder, so scheduling with us is convenient. When you need plumbing, call Mr. Rooter in Fort Smith or book online at mrrooter.com. We're your neighborly company.
Whole Hog Cafe on Phoenix Avenue is now open 11 till 8 Monday through Saturday. Whole Hog Cafe has party packs for your watch party, tailgate party, business meetings, or lunch and dinner for the family. You will see a few new items on the menu to go along with the award-winning barbecue and sides. Whole Hog Cafe, Phoenix Avenue, offers online ordering at wholehogfortsmith.com, along with curbside and delivery service. Or come see us 11 till 8 Monday through Saturday. Follow Whole Hog Cafe on Facebook and Instagram for specials.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
I have so many things that need to be done around the house, like fixing the gate on my fence, painting the front door, and that's just a start. I'm not the best DIY person or even have enough time if I were.
Call Peyton Bullington at Top Notch Roofing and Construction.
Well, isn't that...
I know what you're going to say, but Top Notch does it all. They service both commercial and residential clients with roofing, siding, windows, gutters, fencing, and remodeling, but they also have a crew that specializes in those honeydew jobs piling up at home.
Thanks, man. I'm calling Top Notch Roofing today.
Top Notch, everything from roofing to honeydews, call them today.
Ashley Air is proud to be an official sponsor of Razorback Athletics.
Our service to the River Valley began in 1958, the same year that the legendary Frank Broyles took over as football coach. The Hogs have had some great coaches, but we've never had so many on campus all at once. Sam Pittman, Eric Musselman, Dave Van Horn, and Mike Neighbors, just to name a few. What an incredible team. We put together quite a team at Ashley Air, too. On game day, call the Hogs. When your AC breaks, call Ashley Air.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
2 seconds, 1 second, he lets fly with a shot.
From the Busch Light Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
This is Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Green gets the call. He's got room inside the 25, inside the 20. Green's going to the house. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Arkansas Game Day is brought to you by Bud Light, the world's favorite light beer.
It's picked out of the air at the 20-yard line, inside the 15, down to the 14-yard line. Jake Urachek.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
It is hour number 2 of Arkansas Game Day, and we're live here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. And we're going to go straight to the phone lines and welcome in our guy, Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated. Clay, about 4 hours from kickoff. I know there's a lot of excitement based on what happened this last week, not just with the game today, but the rest of the season. What's the sense you have heading to Fayetteville about how this team's going to play today?
Well, I guess you always wonder. I mean, it's to quote my favorite fictional character, Roy Kent from Ted Lasso. We're not down there. We don't know. Just joking. I think what you expect from Arkansas is that they play hard and that there's some consistency on the defense, and that's what we've seen so far this season. It's you face a team that's full of Georgia high school players, and I have a lot of respect for high school football in Georgia. I go back to the days of Sam Olajibutu, and a lot of people didn't want him, but all the high school coaches in Georgia thought he was a great player. He was their, I think, 3A Player of the Year, and he didn't fit the measurements for an SEC player, but he was just a great player. And so that's what I think that you'll see from Georgia Southern is that you've got players that may not fit the measurables to be SEC players, but they've grown up in really dynamic high school football and that they know how to play the game. Yeah. So it won't be an easy game. Arkansas will have to do the things that they did against Texas, which is take care of the football, avoid mistakes, play solid in the kicking game. They didn't play great in the kicking game in the first week against Rice. So those are the things that when you're a heavy favorite, that you rely on your defense, you don't make turnovers, you play solid in the kicking game. Arkansas does those things that they'll they should win the game easily. But this is a team that has made it difficult for Power 5 teams in the past, and they get their quarterback back. So there's some concern there.
Yeah. Clay, what are you expecting from Georgia Southern's defense? How do they play Arkansas? Do they back the safeties in the secondary up, or do they bring them down and commit to the run? What are you expecting from the outset?
Well, Texas, dared Arkansas to run. Rice, not so much. They played the run. They brought the safeties in the box. And that's the way I think Georgia Southern would play. That's the way I would play. I don't know their personnel, and they've been vulnerable to the pass. They may gamble a little bit to try to stop the run. Florida Atlantic really gassed the passing game, and with the way Arkansas played last week against Texas, with those deep safeties, and they seem to be concerned about Traylon Burks and Tyson Morris and some of the other guys that they play deep and with the safeties, and maybe that's out of respect for KJ Jefferson to make sure don't give him some angles in the secondary. Speed at quarterback. That's I expect that Georgia Southern will gamble and try to pack the box and make KJ Jefferson pass. But I think that's the question of the day. We'll know real early what they've decided is what Arkansas has a strength and what they want to try to take away.
And I guess it's up to Arkansas to prove, hey, we can beat you either way. We're good enough either way. So today, I think today is the day. If they commit to the run and they have some success, can Arkansas say, okay, we'll play with the other hand. We'll throw the ball. So today we'll see if KJ Jefferson and this passing offense maybe can evolve a little bit.
Yeah, the thing about it, they really pack the box. Sometimes, you really can give up big plays. By that I mean you bring those safeties down and you crease them and you block them. That's a big play because there's no way to run them down. So there's some danger to that, and there are times when you see that they're loading the box and you still run, and you just impose your will, and then you hit some big plays. So you might see some of that too from Arkansas, not just because the box is loaded is it an automatic pass, because you should be able to block them with this offensive line. I think that's where you've seen improvement from the Razorbacks.
Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, with us here live from Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, as we keep it rolling here on Arkansas Game Day. Clay, you said yesterday, you look at Traylon Burks to this point, he's a preseason, not just all-SEC player, but All-American. Hasn't necessarily had the statistical impact that we'd expect to this point. How does Kendall Briles, if you said, especially if they load the box, how do you make sure that he blows up stats today?
Well, sometimes you can take a player away, and you can be hard-headed and try to force the ball to him. But you want to get him going before the SEC games, and you want to get him in rhythm where he's comfortable. And I don't know whether he's 100% yet, Ty, and that's a good question. How do they use him? And is he just a decoy, or can they hit some plays with him? And if they're loading the box, maybe he's got one-on-one coverage, and this is his day. But yeah, I think that's something to watch, and how it progresses through the season. Did they take a load off of him and try to rest that heel, for this week, and some other players too. I know that Jalen Catalon's shoulders bothered him, and Grant Morgan's, his knee is he says he's going to play, but we'll see if the coaches let him play and how they can adapt with some of those stars, maybe limited. This is a game that hopefully you don't have to play these guys, all 60 minutes. So, yeah, that Traylon Burks is a great player and a talent, but we haven't seen him play at his best just yet.
And I think there's a good chance that you could see kind of a breakout. And it's weird saying breakout game because he definitely had a few of those this past season. But, Clay, you bring up what potentially could be a lingering injury. We don't have really details on that. I just don't know how to compute or I don't know how to make sense of what I've seen these first two games because he has been. Like, you think about the decoy. You brought up decoy. Watch the 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 Dominique Johnson touchdown on third. It was like a 3rd and goal or whatever it was, and how many defenders flocked to him. He's making an impact on that football field regardless if his statistics are blowing off the page or not.
Yeah, he got his big hands on that defender, and that was the end of it. I mean, he is a dynamic blocker and understands that that's part of his role with his team. And I think if Kenny Guyton's done one thing with these wide receivers so far, it's make them understand that the blocking really changes the running game with those guys there on the perimeter. And Traylon he is a dynamic blocker.
Clay, a lot of people asking about the crowd and the atmosphere today. I think one thing we have to understand is, Texas brought and announced 3,800 to 4,000 fans that bought tickets, and I think there were another 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 that are just in and around our state that bought tickets by other means. Probably 7,000 or 8,000 Texas fans last week. There's probably another 7,000 or 8,000 Arkansas fans that bought tickets just to come to that one specific game. The idea that the atmosphere today could even be anywhere close to on par with last week, I don't think is realistic. But the attendance numbers, if you base it on that, if my numbers are anywhere close to reality, I think we could still expect to see somewhere around 60,000 today.
Yeah, you're probably right, and it's Georgia Southern. I mean, we got to just face the fact that this isn't a Power 5 opponent. This isn't somebody that gets you excited. There are many Razorback football games that I'm not excited about. I mean, this is what I do, and I'm pumped. And I think there'll still be, that core group. And I've talked to some people that normally don't have the ability to get tickets, and they have them today. So you may see a turnover, a different group that they couldn't get tickets last week when it was sold out. And that's the way it used to be, and it was like that for Razorback basketball, that the Fred Walton Arena crowd would turn over from week to week. People would pass their tickets out. I've heard a lot of people say, I can't go this week, but I'm going to make sure somebody uses my ticket. So we may see some of that, too.
Yeah, and I
think different people that are excited that this is Razorback football, and I want to be a part of it.
I think if there's anyone listening right now that's on the fence, that's within an hour or two drive that wants to go, I think it's a safe bet that if you wanted to drive to Fayetteville with your family today, you could affordably find tickets outside the stadium somewhere if you really want to go today.
I think you're right, Tommy, and there'll be some of that happening. And it's a gorgeous day. I'm in Fayetteville now. Well, I tell you what, it's just been a fun week. The Reds are more beautiful. The blue, the sky, everything. And I know everybody's like, "Oh, that's just cliche." No, I mean that's the way I feel.
Yeah.
And I congratulate Sam Pittman and his staff and his players for making people in our state feel that way about football again, because it's been tough to, be excited to go watch the Razorbacks. And, we didn't have the band last year. And I know the band was great. And the atmosphere in the stadium. And I think that's another thing people need to realize, that Jimmy Sanchez and the music and, his role and what they've done in the stadium, it's an improved atmosphere. And it wasn't just about playing Texas. So it will be an enjoyable day, and I look forward to it.
You always write about the keys to the game. You've touched on a few of them already in the conversation. What are the keys for Arkansas today?
Yeah, I think just playing clean. Defense, you should be consistent on defense. You may be up and down a little bit with execution on offense. You're running, a read option offense that, maybe you don't get the reads right every time, but your defense should be consistent. And I think that they should, it's an option offense, Georgia Southern, but I think they should be able to control the tempo and get some 3-and-outs and keep Georgia Southern from making the long drives that they like to do to shorten the game. And I guess that would be the key, is not to let Georgia Southern get the kind of start that gets them excited to be playing, a heavy favorite. You got a team on the road that's a big underdog. Make them feel like they're a big underdog. So to me, that would be the biggest key.
Clay, we always appreciate your time, not just during the week on the Morning Rush and Halftime, but joining us every Arkansas game day. And I'll see you in a couple hours, okay, man?
Look forward to seeing you in the press box. Thanks, Ty. Thanks, Tommy.
All right, good stuff from Clay Henry, as always. All right, coming up, we'll get into, I guess it's now about 13 minutes past 11 o'clock, Tommy, so hopefully there'll be some scores to update on the Bud Light scoreboard. Still a lot to get into. 45 minutes of Arkansas Game Day live from Randall Ford coming up.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Hanging out with my friends at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Hey, Jeremy, the Venom R. I don't even need to say anything else.
Jimmy, it's the hottest truck in the market right now. It's fully customized, upfitted, class exclusive to Randall Ford. You have to see them to believe them. These trucks are flying out of here as quick as we get them done.
People, all they have to do is just come by and check them out.
Just come by, say, hey, I want to see the Venom R. You will not be disappointed.
5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Come see the Venom R's today at Randall Ford.
The Gameday Lodge in Branson is the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. You'll find 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, poker table, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, a fire pit, 2 gas grills, outdoor basketball court, a heated indoor swimming pool nearby, and a 10-minute drive to Silver Dollar City. Not to mention near some of the best golf courses. Just search Gameday Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Airbnb, and VRBO.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
If you're headed out to the tailgate this weekend, make sure you can watch all the games with a Playmaker from World of Wireless, the easy-to-use, portable satellite system.
Call WOW now, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 in the River Valley. Serving your hometown satellite, tailgating, portable TV needs for 26 years now. But you got to give us a call or come by and see us right at the light next to Frank Rowe Furniture in Barling at our new location.
The Playmaker's easy. It weighs 8 pounds. You don't have to point it any direction. You set it out, give it clear line of sight. It will line up all the satellites for you.
Yes, and you can change channels easy, and it's high definition. You get all your local channels with it also, all your ESPNs or whatever you have in your package. Add it to your account, start a new account, or upgrade into it.
And the Playmaker Duo can power 2 TVs at one time as well. Ask about that when you call World of Wireless. Get ready for the weekend at World of Wireless with the Playmaker, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Phil Hicks in Greenwood about Shelter's home insurance.
Bro, your fridge is empty. You need to make a beer run.
Nah, bro. I just ordered my beer from Sodi's on their new app. They're bringing the beer to me.
Yeah!
Your favorite store for wine, beer, and spirits now offers delivery in the Fort Smith area. Order online at mysodis.com or on the Sodi's app. Must be 21 or older and show ID upon delivery. Experience different at Sodi's Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
The Big Fall Hunting and Fishing Sale is underway Thursday through Saturday at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith. The big tent and the store are full of savings on tree stands, hunting clothing, rods and reels, hunting boots, archery equipment, and much more. Jelco has added a new tip-top selection of Western boots with introductory savings. Just arrived a big shipment of 22 long rifle, 12-gauge buckshot, and 5.56 ammo. It's Jelco Outdoors Fall Hunting and Fishing Sale. Now through Saturday at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab in Fort Smith is hiring dietary aides, CNAs, and LPNs all shifts. Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab is a newly remodeled 5-star rehab and long-term facility. Full-time positions qualify for benefits, such as medical, dental, 401k, and vacation. Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab wants you to become a Chapel Champ team member today. Please apply at Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab, 4623 Rogers Avenue, or fax resume to 478-1014. That's 478-1014.
Randall Ford's place to be if you want to save some money today. I got my buddy Dalton with me. And, you know, Dalton, you guys were working hard over the weekend, man. Labor Day, you had a lot of people out here. People were excited about the Broncos, the Bronco sports. They were also excited because Randall Ford is one of very few Ford dealerships that actually has brand new F-150s on the ground, and you have more coming.
Yeah, we've actually got a few F-150s. They're going quick, though, guys. If you want one, you better come get it now.
You know, most of the other dealerships, and just because of the car shortage, they have to show them pictures. They can say, we can order one and maybe get it in 4 or 5 months later. You actually have brand new F-150s right here. And if somebody's looking to trade or even sell their vehicle, this is the place to come.
Yeah, Randall Ford is a great place to buy a truck right now, and if you need anything, just ask for me. My name is Dalton.
There you go. Come on, say my buddy Dalton, one of the sales professionals. You know, this dealership been around for a long, long time, 113 plus years, and continuing today to serve the River Valley. Come see us at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith at Randall Ford.
ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
Time to update you on some scores as we get into our Bud Light scoreboard update. Tommy, you alerted me during the break. Texas A&M just got a big, long touchdown.
I think they scored twice while we were in the break. They're got an extra point pending as we speak, and it is now 14-0. Well, we get some whistles with 9:28 left to 9:26 now left to play in the first quarter. Our scoreboard brought to you by Bud Light, brewed to be perfect for anywhere there's fun, because when there's fun, there's a Bud Light there. Every bottle, can, and draft of Bud Light uses 4 simple, high-quality ingredients to create a clean, crisp taste. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
So let's get into some other games this afternoon. Oklahoma also scored. They punched it in from about the 1-yard line. So it's 7-0 in Norman. Tommy, what are some other notable games that we've got starting at 11 a.m. that have kicked off?
Well, as you said, I'm watching A&M's making their 3rd attempt on a PAT, and they finally get through after 2 false start penalties. So it's now 14-0 in College Station as Texas A&M leads New Mexico. Other games that are underway with 9:28 to go in the first quarter. There's no score between number 8 Cincinnati and unranked Indiana right now. Virginia Tech, the 15th ranked team in the country, trails 7-0 to West Virginia. That game less than 2 minutes in. Coastal Carolina, the number 16 team in the country, up 7-0 over Buffalo today. Other top 25 action, number 24 Miami and Michigan State scoreless about 6 minutes into the first quarter. In the first quarter, number 25 Michigan, 7. Northern Illinois, 7. Got some other games kicking off in the second wave, but that's all the top 25 action right now around the country.
I think I'm kind of with you, Tommy. Of the games that I want to watch tonight, it kind of sets up perfectly. I'll have one eye on the Arkansas game, another eye on the Florida-Alabama game, as long as it stays within a touchdown or two. But it's really tonight that I want to see what Brian Harsin, and really his biggest game so far in his tenure at Auburn, what he can do heading into Happy Valley, that whiteout atmosphere that Penn State's going to bring tonight.
Yeah, let's look at some SEC scores going on. We mentioned A&M up on New Mexico. Right now, Kentucky and Chattanooga, 6:51 to go in the first quarter. They're tied at 7. Missouri leads Southeast Missouri State 14-0. Unranked Tennessee 7, Tennessee Tech 0. That's with 8:25 left in the first quarter. So let's see, 4 games in SEC play underway right now across the conference.
Arkansas had the best SEC matchup this past week. They do not have that today. These SEC, whether it's SEC or SEC other games, I mean, I would think, Tommy, that all eyes and as far as the conference go, or Arkansas is not going to get as many television or outside college football views today because they're matched up with the Florida-Alabama game.
You won't have 3.4 million tuning into today's game, and that's just the nature of the opponent. That's the nature of the schedule. And I think as we move forward to conference realignment and A&M and Texas joining the league, games like Georgia Southern on Arkansas' schedule, games like Alabama-Mercer last week, will be fewer and fewer on the schedule. And I think where's the real benefit? Well, you look at weeks 1, 2, and 3 of the college football schedule. Yes, you have some blockbuster non-conference matchups, but I think you're going to start seeing more high-quality games in the first 3 weeks of the season.
Are there any games that, outside of Auburn and the Florida game that you're kind of intrigued? So you got Auburn, Penn State, as we mentioned, Florida, Alabama. Is there any other game that you just have to watch today or have to keep an eye on?
Well, we mentioned that one. There's really not a lot around the country. I mean, tonight, Pac-12 After Dark, you can watch 2 ranked teams with Arizona State and BYU. That one, just looking through the top 25. But, no, I mean, Alabama, Florida catches my attention. I think we've got 3 games set up in that wave. Oklahoma and Nebraska are 2 brand names, but I'm not expecting really this game to be a great fourth quarter game. Oklahoma leads 7-0 with 7:37 now left in the first quarter. So, no, I mean, this schedule's other than A&M watching them just for obvious reasons, no, there's not really many games. But there is that one brand name game in 11, mid-afternoon and evening that I will have on, and we're watching them now.
Any intrigue if Alabama and Florida gets out of hand, flipping it over to Mississippi State and Memphis? That game's in the Liberty Bowl. Mississippi State is the favorite right now by 3.5. They've had some luck go their way these first 2 weeks. I think that could be a game that goes down to the wire if you're trying to search out an SEC game.
Yeah, that one possibly could be something if it's close. You got South Carolina and Georgia. They've upset the Dogs before.
Yep.
Georgia's at home. I don't expect much there. Ole Miss and Tulane is one I would at least have on my alerts. We saw Tulane give Oklahoma some problems. Ole Miss is at home. Could Tulane slip into Oxford and maybe cause this to be a closer game in the second half? Ole Miss favored by 14. I don't know if that will happen, but I think it's one worth at least putting on your watch list to maybe keep an eye on your app or something to get some score updates.
Yeah. So that's going to do it for your Bud Light scoreboard update. Feel free to jump in here, 877-377-6963. We're live here from Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. And we're about 3.5 hours out from kickoff between the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Georgia Southern Eagles. I know we've had conversations with Sam Pittman this week with Arkansas media. We've had some good sit-downs as well with Clay, Tom, and then also have Dayton Neal on yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to listen to that conversation, make sure you tune in to the Bud Light Seltzer Morning Rush podcast. Now, Tommy, you told our audience in hour number 1, might want to do it again just for those who have just jumped on with us.
Mm-hmm.
People get frustrated sometimes with the SEC Network or ESPN commentators. Well, there's a way, whether it's ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, or the TuneIn app, and your smart speaker, that you can listen to Chuck Barrett and Quinn Grovey.
So if you listen to the Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach at any of those streaming places that Ty just listed, and the easiest place, if you're not familiar, is go to hitthatline.com. We've got an easy-to-use player there. We can now, within the geographical confines of our stations in the state here, stream the ball game on our website. So a lot of people want to match up the TV with Chuck and Quinn. And the easiest way I know to explain it to someone and to make sure it's perfect for your home and your watch party is use the audio with a Bluetooth speaker or however you want to do it in your home with your sound system. And then with your DVR, just pause it and match it up, because inherently the streaming audio is always naturally delayed, 20 to 30 seconds. Then you just match up the TV with your DVR with the video and the audio, and away you go. So the best thing to do is just wait till Chuck gives the time, and you'll watch the time there on the screen, and it's pretty easy to match up. So go to hitthatline.com. You can listen to the game there or on any of our ESPN Arkansas stations, and then use your DVR to match up the broadcast.
What do you want to see out of today's game? Jump in here. Coming up, we're live here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Lock in your price for the next 2 years. When you make the move to Dish right now, call 877-305-DISH. It's football season. Ben, you've had a lot of calls. People that have cut the cord, went streaming only, and they just don't like watching football that way. Come back to Dish now.
Guys, it's time. It's simple. Call 877-305-DISH. It's our local number. It's a toll-free number. It rings into our local store. We've been serving the River Valley for 26 years, a premier Dish retailer. It's football season. It's time to get back to watching TV with traditional satellite TV service, so you can flip channels, recall channels, go to the next channel,
record games,
yeah. Pause live TV, sports bar mode where you can watch 4 games at once with the hopper. It's just easier, and it's HD, and in some games in the future with bowl games, some of the NFL games, 4K. The Hopper 3 is 4K ready, but you got to call us, and we'll throw in a $100 Visa gift card this weekend before the game.
Also ask about the Playmaker system, the easy-to-use portable tailgating satellite system from World of Wireless. Call 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474.
Crabtree RV Center, leading the River Valley in sales and service for over 70 years. Founded in 1950, Crabtree RV Center has grown into one of the largest family-owned and operated RV dealerships in Northwest Arkansas, located on 17 acres, including a 26,000 square foot indoor showroom. Crabtree RV Center has everything you need, all in one convenient location. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, Arkansas, making your family's dreams come true.
Looking for a fence company that will provide the personal touch to your fence or gating project? Call Dusty's Fence Company at 479-629-4190. Dusty's Fence Company specializes in custom wood design, vinyl fencing, chain link and ornamental iron projects, and they can even stain your fence to complete your project. Family owned and in business for 20 years, you will deal with the same person from start to finish. That's Dusty's Fence Company, 479-629-4190.
Make Awake Bait and Tackle on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma has everything a fisherman needs. Rods, reels, tackle, plastics, all kinds of great baits to catch a wall hanger. Rods starting at $69.95. The biggest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reaction Innovation, Bobby Garland, Lake Forgoogan, and more. And Make Awake has Daiwa rods and reels, and they repair them too. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
For more than 80 years, Forest Grin Inc. has been building the foundations of the River Valley and beyond. Forest Grin, a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence, is now hiring experienced concrete finishers and heavy equipment operators. Apply now from any mobile device at forestgrininc.com. Forest Grin is a heritage company and a premier employer. Don't miss this opportunity to become part of the Forest Grin legacy. Apply now from any device anywhere at forestgrininc.com. Forest Grin Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is growing and looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building experience or you have welding skills, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay, health, dental, and vision benefits. Join the top fence building team in the state. The Fence Man. Apply today in person. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Looking for a career in trucking? JR's Trucking Company, a family-owned and operated company, has prided itself on being a safe, reliable, and dedicated carrier. Headquartered in Van Buren, Arkansas since 2002, JR's Trucking Company specializes in transporting poultry and produce across the United States. They offer competitive pay and benefits, weekly home time, plus an $8,000 sign-on bonus. Get on the road to success. Contact JR's Trucking Company today at 1-800-428-4033. JR's Trucking Company, a professional team you can count on.
ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
I know some of you saw this on our social media pages, but tomorrow on Huddle Up with myself and John David White, Hudson Clark, former Highland Park, now current Arkansas Ridgeback, is going to be joining us. This will be our first player guest that we've had on, Tommy, and coincidentally enough, his dad reminded me last night that him and JD both sport the number 17. I think I'm going to have some fun with them asking if I'm quarterback and JD's going up against Hudson, could Hudson catch it, or could JD catch a pass on Hudson? I guess that would come down to me being able to throw a football more than 10 yards, which I can throw a deep ball. I can't throw much of an out route or a stop or anything like that.
Yeah, I guess only in practice could that happen. But, yeah, I mean, and both with the same number. I didn't even think about that. So that'll be an interesting question you can ask.
So, and if
was that by design, or I mean, I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it's just coincidence.
No, I asked JD. I was like, hey, let's get a player on the pod this week. We've had his grandfather John Reese, who's a part of that '69 team. We've had on Dr. Smith, who's a part of Martin Ortho, and then the first guest we had Coach Hatfield on. So we've had some really good quality guests so far this week. I was like, JD, let's mix it up and get a player. I was like, who you want to get? And he said Hudson. Now, Tommy, if you remember years back, Pulaski Academy actually dethroned Highland Park. They had it was a massive double-digit home winning streak, and PA went down there and beat them. So I bet there'll be some fun conversations surrounding that as well.
Yeah, so another thing to dig into in that interview, and maybe there's some interesting points. Hopefully for John David, this is a game today that maybe he'll have a little better opportunity to catch more than a few passes.
Yeah, I think he can definitely get out there, not only catch some passes, but have an impact on this game today. We're live here at Arkansas Game Day from Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. I'm going to be making my way to Fayetteville just in about 30 minutes or so. Really excited about that and excited to be up there talking football the rest of the way. Tommy, I got a sense after the Texas game, it's not like people weren't excited about this season, but you know how there's sometimes like an extra level that people talk about? There's an extra oomph. Well, we certainly saw that after the Texas win, how much more locked in Arkansas fans are to this team in 2021.
Yeah, and, hopefully that sustains. I think Clay brought up a good point about, will there be some carryover with fans that, are buying tickets or some that can't go today, but, hey, here's a chance for a family that doesn't normally get to attend a game for whatever reason. There's access to today's game. Tickets are going to be readily available. So, hey, I think it's a great sign about the health of the fan base in relation to this team. If you're pushing north of 65,000 today, that is an awesome sign about where this fan base is, particularly on a 3 o'clock game. Middle of September, still going to be warm. 65+ thousand would be awesome today.
I'd have to think, and you'd probably have to go to 6 years ago, Tommy, when there was a collective, not just fan base excitement, but just the atmospheres. 2015, you had a good football team, 8-5. You had some big-time wins, including on the road at Ole Miss. 2015 basketball team, if you remember, they lost to North Carolina in the round of 32. The baseball team had some bumpy stops, it had some bumps in the road, but it ended up going to the College World Series, and I think they went, if I remember correctly, 0-2 in barbecue, but, I mean, it lined up pretty good that year. That was 6 years ago. And this calendar, and it's like this calendar year, when you call it a sports calendar year, to me, I think has the potential to top that if this football team keeps doing what we think it has the potential to do, or at least tie what that football team could do in 2015.
Well, if you think about just the three big sports, men's basketball, baseball, and football. When's the last time all three were maybe nationally ranked and great at the same time? And I was talking about this with Chuck Barrett earlier this week, and you think back, and you may go back to the 70s when they were really good. Now, we'll see if the football team can live up to that kind of conversation, but you think about, you won the Orange Bowl, you beat Oklahoma, you were highly ranked nationally with football, you had a Final Four team with Eddie Sutton in basketball and the triplets, and then you had a College World Series team that nearly won the national title. So you think about that era there. I don't know if that's where we're headed. We're a long ways from that. But it's been a while since you've had all three sports. It's been a while since basketball and football were both, at a high level together and sustained that. Arkansas's won one game, jumped in the poll in football. There's a long ways to go to sustain what we saw last week, but it's been a while since all three sports were kind of ranked and riding high in top 10 type programs, top 15 type programs at the same time. Football still got to catch up to basketball and baseball, but it's certainly made a stride or two in the right direction.
Yeah, and Tommy, with the football team, it's about sending a message today at 3 o'clock that it wasn't just last week that it was a great high-octane rivalry. The atmosphere brought it. We saw the video of Coach Sam Pittman that Razorback football put out this week, the message that he sent. You want that to continue. Now, no person on planet Earth would agree that the atmosphere is going to be today what it was last week. But it's like Coach Musselman said multiple times during the COVID season this past year. There has to be a competitive nature inside you that it doesn't matter if there's 10 fans, 20 fans in the stands like there were at some G League games that he used to do back then. It was called the D League. And now when there's going to be hopefully 60,000 plus, you have to be so locked in, so motivated. And the great thing about this team, Tommy, is there's so many seniors, so many veteran guys that want to prove that their final season at Arkansas was one that should be remembered for years to come and could be the building blocks for what Sam Pittman's team is going to be moving forward as long as he's here.
Yeah, and we've talked about the super seniors. They've not really experienced any success. Most of this team has not been to a bowl game. Yep. So I mean, there is there's a lot of what should be hungry players out to prove some things. There's some coaches on this staff that have experience in bowl games at a high level, and you don't have to look any further than Sam Pittman, with Georgia and some of the success they had in his time there and other stops he's made along the way. But they know the path. They got to follow it, and I think it's going to take time. I'm not saying Arkansas is going to be in a college football playoff or New Year's Day 6, but I think they are playing their way to potentially being in a very nice, perhaps Florida destination come January. So you got to win some games. You're going to have to win, 3, maybe 4 conference games, and I think that's reality. You may not beat Bama, you may not beat Georgia, but I think you can play close and perhaps beat A&M for the first time in almost a decade. You can do some things that hadn't been done in a while, and I think playing in a relevant bowl game, while it may not be for the consequences that the elite of college football will play for, that's a huge step in the right direction, and and some confirmation that you've hired the right guy, you're on the right trend line, and a signal to recruits that, hey, Arkansas is a great place to be, and you want to get on board now.
Lance from Fort Still sets in. He says he just wants to see an easy win, injury-free, and no special team mistakes. We were talking about special teams earlier. You did have, I think, a shank punt. You have Greg Brooks muff that punt. But outside of that, Cam Little goes 4 for 4. Vito Calvaruso is just booming them suckers in the back of the end zone. And you'd like to see a repeat of a lot of the things you saw this past week, plus the block punt that you heard at the top of our open with Jake Yurichek as well. But, Tommy, I think injury-free and not getting anyone ejected from targeting would probably be the ones at the top of my list today, and I think you've been pretty staunch on that all week long.
Yeah, I've just keep making the point of if you could get to a point by early third quarter, maybe at halftime, that some of your mainstays on defense, and I'm thinking of Grant Morgan and Catalan, and I'm thinking of some of the guys you really got to have in the game plan to have a shot at A&M. Be nice to limit their snaps in the second half. Targeting can happen so fast, and it's hard to tell a player to motor down when they're playing in a game that's 3 or 4 touchdowns wide. They want to make the plays. Why take the risk of something happening that was unintentional, that you lose them for a half? So that's just my opinion. Some agree with that, some don't, but hey, you'd love to develop some young talent, but more than anything, you don't want to, A, risk injury, but B, targeting can happen so fast, as we've seen, Ty, and you'd really feel like your shot of beating A&M could be diminished if you went into that game without a player or two. Last week you didn't have Bumper Pool for the first half. He had a tremendous second half against Texas. You want all hands on deck to start your conference play schedule next week.
You think about those trio linebackers in the middle. They've been running a lot of that 3-2-6 with Bumper Pool, Grant Morgan, and Hayden Henry. I think that Grant's going to be a go today based on what he said and what Coach Pittman has said. I mean, that trio, if they stay healthy the rest of the season, which they've all dealt with injuries as often as linebackers typically do because of how forceful they have to be with their bodies. I mean, that is a outstanding trio, not just because of how old they are and how much they've understood and bought into Barry Odom, but just what they provided to this football team this year. And then the back end with Jalen Catalan and Joe Fouché. And my, oh my, is there a player that's emerged as quickly as John Ridgeway has on that defensive line? I mean, we saw how dominant of a presence he was in one game, and people in this state have latched on to him like fried chicken on Saturdays, man. And we're about to get some fried chicken here. They love that guy, man. It's unbelievable. The Refridgeway, the fridge. I mean, this guy, I don't know if he had a nickname in Illinois State, but as soon as he had one great game for the Arkansas Razorbacks against Texas, it's like he's the second coming of these great defensive linemen that have come through Arkansas.
Yeah, so hopefully he can sustain and stay on the field. I mean, because you're right, people are latching on and really liking what they're seeing. He's only played in one game, so we'll see today if he can make some more noise for the Razorbacks.
And that's coming. What's crazy about his performance this past week, Tommy, is that's coming off appendectomy, which I've never had one, but I have had a friend or two that's had to go through it. That is not easy. I think they were out, if I remember correctly, they were out like a month. Now, Coach Pittman said that they caught it early and caught it up front, which is good, not just for him being able to play, but just for his health. But, man, oh, man, for him to do what he did against the Texas Longhorns and just kind of be people keep saying Jonathan Marshall, he doesn't have those measurables or that talent yet, but he's playing in that role. For him to be that this past week was so pivotal for that defense. And as you brought up, I mean, you had Hayden Henry, Bumper Pool, Grant Morgan, they were running free to the football because of guys like him up front plugging up holes.
Making the way, road grading the path for them to get through and make those stops. So Arkansas put plenty of pressure, had some quarterback hurries. There's 3 sacks on Texas last week. That front group, that level 1 and 2 of the defense played great, and the linebackers, was it a combined 38 tackles between the 3 of them? So
that sounds right.
They were the leading 3 tacklers on the team. give them credit, but also give that defensive front, those three guys up front that rotated through the night, led by Ridgway and Williams and others that played, a tremendous amount of credit for freeing them up to run free to the ball carrier and to the quarterback.
All right, we got one more segment of here on Arkansas Game Day live from Randall Ford. So if you have one last take that you want to get in, we got another 3 hours and 15 minutes before they kick off against Georgia Southern. Feel free to hop in here at 877-377-6963. One more segment coming up after this.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Checking in at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Got my buddy Ethan with me. And, Ethan, last weekend during Labor Day, you guys saved people a lot of money. If they're in the market, they're looking for a pre-owned or a new F-150, you still have several to choose from. The good thing about this dealership is you have transports that come in every single week and reload your car lot.
Jim, we've got more new cars in this last month than we have in the past 3 or 4. And there's still plenty of F-150s sitting out there, too, for people to come look at. They got 0 for 72 going on right now as well.
Yeah, I kind of dig that. Hey, the Bronco Sport, they sell as fast as they get here. So if somebody wants to see the hottest selling Ford in the market today, you have one right here on the showroom floor.
Hey guys, just come down and see us. We got a couple of them sitting around here. The shelf life on those is little to none, so you better act fast.
All they got to do is ask for Ethan.
Ask for Ethan.
There you go. Come by and see my friends. I guarantee one of our sales professionals will take care of you and treat you like family. It's the 4th oldest Ford dealership in America, and it's found right here in your own backyard, my friends, at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Come see us at Randall Ford.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
Hey, back again with our good friends at World of Wireless. Call 877-305-DISH. If you cut the cord in the last year or two and now football season's back and you can't switch between games, you don't enjoy the experience as much, Ben, you can get DISH in your home for as low as $80 a month.
Get back to traditional TV where you can watch all your sports, have picture-in-a-picture going, and with the Hopper, you can have 4 games at once on your big screen, by the way.
And a full DVR capability, too.
Full DVR recording, instant replay on your own. The main thing is you got to call us at World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH. Less than $80 a month gets you 3 TVs. You don't have to worry. And all 3 TVs are sharing the same recordings. Traditional satellite TV is more affordable than ever. Your price is guaranteed for 2 years, and it's just easier to watch sports. So get back to watching sports the way you like it, changing those channels, talking to your remote, telling you to find this game, find that game on your remote. It finds your games for you.
It's better than streaming, and it's at a low cost right now with DISH and World of Wireless, and lock it in for 2 years. 877-305-DISH for World of Wireless.
Links at Chaffee Crossing, located in Fort Smith, has the best barbecue in the River Valley, hands down. Check out Links at Chaffee Crossing's Facebook page for their daily specials and live music schedule. Links at Chaffee Crossing has dine-in or patio dining with a full view of the golf course. Also, stop by their full bar for a cold beer or a cocktail. Need a place to watch the Hog games? Links at Chaffee Crossing has that too. Get linked up at Links at Chaffee Crossing, 11707 Custard Boulevard in Fort Smith.
Why do I run? Is it because I'm driven? Because I love the challenge? God, no. I do it for the beer. If you're the kind of runner who does it for the beer, this summer you can get one on us with the Michelob Ultra Beer Run. Grab your run buddies and get out there, because this summer there's beer at the finish line. Sign up at ultrabeerrun.com and trade your miles for beer.
Don't drop the ball. Talk to your doctor about prostate health today. A man has a 1 in 7 chance of developing prostate cancer in his lifetime. It's the second leading cause of cancer-related death in Arkansas men. Catch it early. It doesn't have to knock you down. Join the Arkansas Prostate Cancer Foundation and their partners for free health education screenings for men ages 45 to 75. Go to arprostatecancer.org for a calendar of screening events near you. When it comes to prostate health, don't drop the ball.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
September is here, and at Frank Rowe Furniture, it's time to sell, sell, sell. Everything's on sale. Made in the USA furniture, family owned, and serviced after the sale. Also, we have in-store no credit check financing. I want you to remember one name, Frank Rowe Furniture, located at 405 4th Street in Barling, Arkansas, or check us out on Facebook. Frank Rowe Furniture, best seats in the house.
Where can you get an SEC breakfast burrito? SEC! Or a Jack or Hammer sandwich? Or a Moo Pig burger? Moo Pig Suey! You can get all this and more at Black Dog Meat Company in Booneville. Black Dog Meat Company is a fantastic family-owned restaurant serving some of the best breakfast burritos, sandwiches, burgers, beef jerky, and farm-raised Iowa Black Angus beef steaks in the River Valley. Find Black Dog Meat Company's menu, daily specials, and more on Facebook. No black labs were harmed in the making of this food.
ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light.
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
So Hog Reaction last week, we took a really emotional call from Eddie in Clarksville following the win. Really appreciate it. Clay mentioned it yesterday. Longtime player, coach, NFL legend Lewis Campbell, who joined the program during Texas Week, helped Eddie get some tickets, and Eddie was able not just to make his way to Fayetteville, but make his way and decide into Razorback Stadium. He's also made his way onto Arkansas Game Day today. Eddie, what are your feelings about the Hogs and the Eagles at 3 o'clock this afternoon?
Well, I'll tell you this, sir. I'm very excited. And last weekend went off the charts. And God bless Coach Campbell. You know, I grew up with the Texas Longhorn Rock. That get any. It just means more. And I'm telling you this, I'm listening to your show today. For these players, whether it's one fan in a stadium, whether it's 100,000, you bring that intensity. And I mentioned yesterday on the morning rush, here my train is coming. Why? I've been on the train since I was 7 years old. And I'm asking the fan base this afternoon, can you hear the Hawk train a coming? And so I hope we play with great intensity today. I hope we get that steam rolling on the Hawk train. I hope we can send a message to the Aggies in Arlington that can they hear the Hawk train coming? And I think we're going to do exactly that this afternoon.
There it is. Well, Eddie, we appreciate you calling in. Enjoy the game today, okay, buddy?
I'm touching the answer post game, sir, because I'm picking an old boy from Old Hill, Arkansas.
I think the train went through the tunnel there.
Yeah, I was going to say went to the Bobby Hopper, Tommy. Is that what happened?
Maybe.
You know what, Tommy, when I was a kid and we used to make our way to Rogers, Arkansas, because that's where my late grandpa, Daddy Joe, and grandmother lived, and they lived over by Lake Atlanta. I'd always ask, I mean, you've heard this 1,000 times from your youngsters, hey, Dad, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Yeah.
And even though it's a good, 30 to 45 minutes from Rogers, every time we drove through the Bobby Hopper, I was like, man, we're almost there.
Yeah.
But and then I'd realize as a kid, as a youngster, it was like, well, I still got now about 45 minutes till we actually get to my grandparents' house. But I just love, I don't know about y'all, but one of my favorite experiences and parts of going up to Fayetteville, Arkansas, whether when I was a student for games as a kid or a game now, is just driving in and seeing the campus from Greenland, basically. That's maybe that's just my own thing, but that's one of I start blaring some country song, whatever it may be, but that's one of my favorite experiences about just making my way up to the hill in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
See, when I was a kid, you went the old 71, and
Pig Trail.
And the Pig Trail's really 23 coming out of Ozark to 16, but the old 71, it was a treat when you got to stop at the Ozark Mountain Smokehouse. And you couldn't get too heavy with the ham and the other stuff because, they weighed your sandwich. So you didn't want to get up there and have when I was a kid, a $7 sandwich, you're going to be in trouble if you overdid it. So, that was the treat when you were a kid is you either stopped at the top of the Boston Mountains there at Gaylor Mountain or you stopped at the Ozark Mountain Smokehouse when you went to Fayetteville. And that was, I miss those places. They used to be around, and you'd stop in and get you a great sandwich there. But you made your own. You went through kind of a sandwich buffet, and then they waited at the end, and they charged you by the ounce. So,
man, that sounds. Now, did you load? I'm assuming you, even as a youngster and as a youngin, you loaded yours up like you should. You were taught.
Well, I think Mom and Dad probably made mine most of the time. I mean, I'm going back 35 plus years, but anyone over the age of 40 like me knows exactly what I'm talking about. When I say Ozark Mountain Smokehouse, does that even ring a bell with you?
I've heard of it, Tommy. I'd be lying if I told you if I've actually been. Now
they've been gone. Well, they've been gone for a while, but that was one of the treats along the way there on the old 71 when I was a youngster.
You know what, Tommy? There's not many pleasures my dad takes out of not having me at home because of how a great son I actually was during my time under him. But I think one of the things he does appreciate is not having to spend the thousands upon thousands of dollars he used to with me in food. Because, I mean, you've seen me eat. You've had to – my dad's probably –
I've had to take up feeding you, yeah.
I was going to say you've kind of reciprocated the tab to this point, and I think that's one of the things my dad is happy for, that he doesn't have to pay. He occasionally will pay for a meal, and I'll pay for one of his, but he has enjoyed not having to do that on a daily to weekly basis. So.
All right, 3 o'clock kickoff. Phil Elson and crew will join us in about 5 minutes right here on ESPN Arkansas. You can listen to the game on ESPN 95.3 in Fort Smith, 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and 96.3 in Hot Springs and Southwest Arkansas. So enjoy the game today. We're just over 3 hours from kickoff.
Hanging out with my friends at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Hey, Jeremy, the Venom R.